Today's video will be interesting. I was shocked by the material that came to my attention. The interview, given in 2016, was from a high-ranking officer of the Russian armed forces. It remained unnoticed, possibly because someone made every effort to keep it from becoming known. On July 26, 2016, retired Lieutenant General Alexander Semenovich Skryabin, in this interview with the Czech newspaper Lidové, revealed that, according to his information, representatives of an extraterrestrial civilization would colonize our planet in the near future. The general asserts that all governments have been preparing for this for a long time. However, on July 28th, this interview was removed from the newspaper's website, and all external sources that had published it also removed it. Nevertheless, there were people who, upon seeing this unusual news, took screenshots of the webpage, and it seems they were not mistaken. Recently, there has been insider information that the newspaper even managed to print a complete edition with this interview, but for unknown reasons, they had to destroy the entire print run. This whole situation raises a chilling thought that Skryabin may have been telling the truth. Internet forums have divergent opinions. Some believe that the interview of the Russian general is a fabrication, but others are questioning why the traces of the interview on the internet are being so carefully erased. It turns out that something similar happened in 2004 when the editor of this newspaper published an article titled "Russia Books Behind Bars," which claimed that the explosions in residential buildings in Russia in September 1999 were organized by the FSB. At the time, the Russian embassy in the Czech Republic had an impact on the situation by publishing an open letter addressed to the chief editor of Lidové. Now it seems that the chief editor has been influenced from the shadows. So, what sensational information did General Skryabin provide? Here is a literal translation of the article from his interview. "I'm 73 years old and I've seen a lot. I can't be silent anymore. I can't sleep peacefully. Many people have no idea what is going on in the world. I hate watching TV and reading newspapers. All this is just a pile of lies. No one knows the truth. The world is discussing the US elections, the conflicts in Turkey, Syria, and does not understand what awaits us in the future. But soon everything will change dramatically. People have been deceived for decades, and we all live in a different reality. Humanity is on the verge of destruction," the general continues. "We watch films about aliens with bated breath, where there is an invasion of the planet and colonization of people. But we leave the cinemas and continue to live. But they showed us this for a reason. Recently, I watched a movie about an alien invasion and was surprised by how accurately the director portrayed the truth. But people perceive it as a fairy tale. High-ranking military officials, they know that aliens are not fiction but a cruel and sad reality. They all sign non-disclosure agreements. The general claims that he personally participated in joint exercises with aliens. By the way, a video of joint military exercises involving the Russian army and an extraterrestrial spacecraft has leaked onto the internet. I remember when I first saw them, I lived in horror for several months. We were warned that the following month we would be training at the base and they would be there. We received instructions, were prepared for the encounter, and signed non-disclosure agreements regarding state secrets. Now I can only say how repulsive it was to see them. All these years, I felt like an empty space on my own planet. They are the real masters. Our country's presidents are just puppets obeying their orders. We Earthlings have long been handed over as raw material. Those who remain will simply be a workforce for them. It won't happen as it's mostly depicted in movies, where aliens arrive on Earth and start annihilating people and cities with their powerful weapons. It will be different. One beautiful day, the extraterrestrials will announce their arrival. Our sold-out government will stage a pre-arranged scene of a joyful meeting with an extraterrestrial civilization. They will offer the world to accept new rulers in life, which will mean the occupation of Earth by an extraterrestrial civilization. Naturally, not everyone will agree with this. Those who disagree will be labeled as terrorists, and all uprisings will be ruthlessly suppressed. Dissenters will be destroyed en masse, including entire cities. The extraterrestrials will govern the Earth through people who are part of the puppet government. There will be no poor or rich. Obedient people will have everything they need: cars, food, while dissenters will have nothing but forced labor. According to the plan, large cities will be occupied and reservations will be established nearby. Only the chosen and those who agree to assist the extraterrestrials will reside in the megacities. Automated drones and military units consisting of people loyal to the puppet government will patrol the streets. They will identify the non-compliant and mercilessly punish any resistance or refusal to obey orders. General Skryabin continued, it all began in Soviet times. The General Staff operated a top-secret military unit, number 103, which dealt with PSI warfare matters. It was overseen by the Prime Minister of the USSR, Valentin Pavlov, and led by Lieutenant General Alexei Savin, who were military psychics. They were given all sorts of tasks. In June 1991, orders came from above to fly to Uzbekistan to receive extraterrestrials, and we received many such orders starting from the 1970s. Sometimes these stories leaked into the media and people laughed while we were in depression. There was also Colonel Ivan Pavlovich Nazarenko, the chairman of the Scientific and Technical Committee of the Air Defense Forces of the USSR. He often organized the arrivals of extraterrestrials on Soviet territory, making sure that no one saw or noticed anything. Their favorite regions were Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and remote areas in general. Why these regions? Because there's a lot of gold and uranium there and they take it for themselves. In fact, there's almost no gold left in circulation on the planet. There are no reserves, everything is handed over to them. Why do the extraterrestrials need gold? I don't know. Pay attention to periodic scandals with fake gold, be it in China or the US. It's because there's almost no gold left in the world's reserves. Even when you buy it from banks, it's not handed to you. It remains in the form of a deposit, essentially virtual gold. And if you want to get it in physical form, the price will be much higher. And if you decide to melt it down, you'll be in for disappointment. The bars you receive from the bank won't match the declared gold composition. The journalist from the Czech publication asked General Skryabin if he knew about the instances of high-ranking Russian government officials meeting with extraterrestrials. He claims that such meetings occurred with Mikhail Gorbachev and Boris Yeltsin. Now, there is intensive preparation underway for the execution of Earth colonization plans. It's worth noting that across various countries, an unusually rapid enactment of laws, predominantly punitive and controlling in nature, is taking place. Many people fail to realize or perceive this, which is a cause for even greater concern. Firstly, the general continued, there has been a multi-year process of indoctrination and implantation of controlled technologies. Secondly, the emotionally exhausted population lacks the mental capacity to be shocked and resist these technologies. All presidents and special services have been prepared for this. Soon, a completely new era will begin for the entire planet, an era akin to a genuine concentration camp. In support of General Skryabin's statements, the English news publication Inquisitor, citing high-level insiders, reports that Moscow is receiving technology from extraterrestrials. These technologies allegedly helped Russia disable equipment on the American destroyer Donald Cook and now pose a threat to the US and Syria. Several American conspiracy theorists have also put forward astonishing theories, claiming that Russia's armed forces use advanced weaponry in Syria developed thanks to a secretive technological agreement between Moscow and extraterrestrial civilizations. An observer from Veterans Today, James Preston, also believes that Russia's military arsenal includes extraterrestrial technologies, such as supersonic torpedoes and rockets capable of performing complex maneuvers in flight. Additionally, it is claimed that Russia's aerospace forces are equipped with a camouflage system used by extraterrestrial civilizations on their ships. Thanks to this technology, aircraft become invisible or undetectable. As the publication emphasizes, James Preston's ideas largely align with the theories of another conspiracy theorist and whistleblower in the field of space programs, Corey Goode, who also claims that leading world powers are collaborating with extraterrestrial civilizations in secretive military programs. The British publication also reports that in the 1970s, Moscow entered into an agreement with extraterrestrials within the framework of the Cosmosphere space program. However, after the dissolution of the USSR, information began to leak. and communication between Russia and the extraterrestrial side was suspended. It is assumed that Vladimir Putin reinstated this agreement during a meeting with representatives of an extraterrestrial race in March 2015. Reports suggest that negotiations were very complex and neared collapse, but at the last moment, Putin and the representative of the extraterrestrial race found common ground. It was at this point that the extraterrestrials promised to provide Russia with access to advanced technologies to support its invasion of Syria. Conspiracy theorists believe that due to the greed of the global elite, a conspiracy is taking place with extraterrestrials against the rest of humanity. They argue that authorities are concealing information about contact with extraterrestrial civilizations, as well as knowledge capable of solving global issues related to medicine and food. Supporters of this conspiracy theory believe that extraterrestrials are using the greed of the ruling elite and are preparing for the takeover of the world by 2030. Professor Aristotle was with you. See you again on the channel.